You have just filed a intervention into this suit on the city charter recount. What is the intervention exactly?
Well, Carl, the intervention amounts to this. Mrs. Scott and some other interested Mexican-American citizens here in Dallas were a little upset with the publicity that was being disseminated here in Dallas that led people to believe that all of the Mexican-American community opposed the election or was contesting the election.
The results of the recount actually show 13,600 and votes cast, 604 voters who voted in this election. On proposition number 1, there were for 6,427 and against 3,370. The amazing thing is that in the recount, on proposition number 4, which was the proposition that most people were most concerned with, there was a total difference of 2,391 votes before the recount and the exact number after the recount.
Well, I don't think it'll have a great deal of effect on the outcome of next Tuesday's election. For one thing, I think most people have already made up their mind as to whom they're going to vote for. Second, I think it comes too late to really have a considerable impact. A bombing pause in itself is insufficient to determine the outcome of the conflict in Vietnam. It's probably just the second step on the way to peace. The first step being the initial stopping of the partial bombing of North Vietnam and the movement to the discussions in Saigon, in Paris. This is now the second step. I anticipate a long period of prolonged, tough, difficult negotiations.
Mr. Humphrey has been politically motivated.
Not at all. I'm sure there will be people who indict the president for doing this for political purposes, but I think his search for peace has been too long and too anguished to culminate in a hypocritical, cynical, insufficient peace overture.
Mr. Humphrey is said to have been gaining a lot of ground in recent weeks. Do you think he's got enough momentum now to carry him over to a win?
Well, he's certainly gained ground. I saw one national poll coming down here taken the last week, which shows he has narrowed the margin between himself and Mr. Nixon from 10.5 points to 3.2 tenths of a point. The two difficult trends to detect at this moment is, one, how much is Mr. Wallace dropping, and to whom are his votes going, to Nixon or Humphrey? And second, whether Humphrey is getting back just enough Democrats to make the party a little more united, but not enough to make the margin of difference next Tuesday. I think it's too early. He certainly has narrowed the gap. If he had another week, I think he'd probably overtake Mr. Nixon. But with only 4 days left now, it's just too early to tell whether he can go all the way.